get top 25 and anything?
I haven't got the stats, sorry.
Oh, yeah, of course. You're not going to have that one out there. So we're going to go through the picks and bans when it comes to it. We've got NiP ban split, Bonk picked Ascent, NiP picked Bind, and Haven is left over. So, Bonk picking Ascent, Mitch. I'm a fan of that.
Okay, so coming in on the Ascent up against NiP obviously means they're going to be starting on the attacking side. Now, oh, look at this. We've got the rates up here. I was about to pull up my own stats, but never mind. We've got them for you, right? Neatly packaged. So when it comes down to Ascent, you can see the win rate is pretty much neck and neck. NiP have played it that little bit more. So maybe this could be a bit of a slip up. If anything, just looking at those stats, you'd imagine that it would be Ascent that would be the decider, right? The middle ground.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's one of those ones where I guess Bonk have seen something in NiP's play, because we've seen NiP have some awful Ascent games, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
We've seen them really not hit the mark when it comes to it.
Well, yeah, you look at some of the results. Obviously, they were close. They 14-12 win over Rix, 13-11 over Inferno, and that's not really inspiring. But then again, they've managed to pull maps off of the likes of FPX and almost beat G2. So it is a decent enough map for them most of the time, but not in the start of this pistol round. At least they've already lost the opening duel. And look at Bonk's approach.
I love this.
They go top mid or bottom mid, I suppose. Rush all the way through and then just slowly back away.
You love to see it, man. You love to see it. I'm all for this, because what this means is that they got the early pick, right? They're going to keep NiP guessing on their toes. It could come from any direction. Now, interestingly enough, seeing the Killjoy on hip set up here at B is great. I'm all for this. But so the Sova's not here, though. Okay, so they're playing the Sova towards A. So it's going to be CREA and hip over towards B. This is going to be interesting to see how they deal with it. Bonkar's going to get his recon up. luckeRRR's pushing in so fast. Sayf, he's on top of it. Oh, this is huge already. 2 players down. Hip doesn't know where to look or where to turn. Sayf's up high, and he's been able to get so much damage done, Mitch. That was crazy.
Yeah, things have not exactly gone well.
Oh, CREA! How's it not Jett? What is going on?
He's just picked up 4. He's looking for the ace. 2 seconds left. They have to push him. And Sayf just about wins it. My God, though. They left him unchecked for so long.
My God. Mitch, at first I didn't realize where Sayf was getting the kills from on the wall. I watched luckeRRR dash away to get back into the site, and I'm thinking, okay, wait a second, where's going on? Even our poor observer was doing his best to try and understand what was happening, and you're just watching NiP get wrecked, and then all of a sudden CREA just not checked. I thought he died. I thought he went out early on because they were in the site, and then all of a sudden it's like CREA's dominating, and then Sayf just finishes it off. That should have been such an easy round for Bonk, and it nearly slipped away.
Well, that's one hell of a start to the pistol. We said this was going to be a good game, but I didn't expect this much adrenaline this early on in the day. Ease off the Red Bull a little bit. My heart can't take it.
My, oh my. Oh, nicely done by Rhyme onto Yacine, though. Takes a bit of damage himself, but he can easily just heal himself up. No backup coming in just yet. Bit late to the party. And the rest of the guys coming in there.
So at this stage, really, if you're Bonk, you've lost the opening duel. You're up against pistols. You know that they've obviously heard a lot of you outside of A, so the rotates have probably come through. And what do pistols do? They come in, they try to charge you down in numbers, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening. A good paranoia led to those players being pushed back, but heals are underway. Retrieve weapon for luckeRRR, grabs a double, and it's a 3v1. They didn't invest anything, Banks. It was a couple of abilities, which we talk about again and again, right? You're on an eco, just buy up your abilities because you don't lose them if you die. And there you see it. Because the paranoia was still available, it went through, it allowed them to push them into a choke point, and for some reason, Bonk just kept on trying to take the fights.
Yeah, it was not, I mean, at all defensive from Bonk. Great teamwork coming out from the NiP side. The 3-man push there. That was huge. I'm just shocked once again at what's going on in these rounds. Like, we mentioned how good Sayf was. He proved us that on the pistol round. I'm all down for that. But just what NiP showed us there was that's the teamwork, right? That's the game plan coming into it. Because Bonk just got caught completely slipping, didn't even have a chance to react.
So, like, right, to talk about that round in depth, I love the start of it. You have Rhyme winning a duel. That's nothing to do with strategy. It's just really good shots hit. Right click into left, gets the frag. Okay. Bonk's reaction from that point was to stick outside of A for 20 seconds. You know at that point the rotates have come in because they're still hearing steps. You're spamming away. You're letting them know you're there. Now, usually that's where I think you're faking, right? You're looking for a push on B or mid. You're trying to go into the B site late once you've caused the rotates. But they stay in position, and they stay, and they stay. Eventually, NiP decide to push forward, and bonk just can... So they got pushed back to the choke point, and instead of falling back and taking the ranged fights, which is what would obviously favor them, the only weapon the enemies managed to retrieve was the Spectre. They just stay there, and then they try to push back in and take the fights versus the pistols when they're set up and have numbers. That was ludicrous. I have no idea what the comms were there, why they felt like they needed to take those fights, but they definitely didn't.
And you know the wall they were hiding behind? It meant they had to spam with Spectres, which aren't doing massive amount of damage anyway. And the angle you're sat at, the pistols can just tap, like, tap, 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 no problem at all. Already though, luckeRRR in a great position. They're lining up for him. Oh, he misses a key one. He will get taken down, but Rhyme's there trying to make sure he can hold on to it. He definitely doesn't want to allow them to get hold of that operator.
Always a problem. Oh, hold on. Rhyme under threat. He got the trade out. It's always a problem when you find that first kill, right? But you use your dash early to stay around in an aggressive position like we saw from luckeRRR there. I think, so had he have hit his third shot and found the kill, his dash would be back online and he could get out of there. So he's really gambling on being able to connect that. But obviously, without being able to find it, he was in a little bit of trouble. Obviously, the one thing we haven't mentioned as well is that NiP have traded out their Cypher for the Killjoy. So it's playing towards the A site. And normally you will see Cypher playing here anyways. But the advantage really for me with the Killjoy is, let's say you want to rotate and go to the B site. You think they're going to push. With a Cypher, you have to keep checking your camera. With a Killjoy...
Oh, luckeRRR.
You don't, right? That
Sorry,
camera...
Mitch.
No, you're all good.
I literally could just see him getting slapped there, and I was thinking, wait a second.
Oh, this is great as well. Look, the shock dart lineup ready to go. Rhyme is going to be taking the opening fight. There we go. He finds it, bails back. Here's the shock dart through. Oh, it's a recon.
Oh,
so he's able to spray away. They're running into it as well. And the Omen, again, used for that wallbang. We see it so often. And that was a really nice setup because they're going to... I thought it was a shock dart to help out on the second fight. But obviously, they're so focused on taking that duel, they're not paying attention to the recon coming up behind them. And that's where you just get the easiest spray of your life.
And you can see the teamwork on the defensive side here for NiP. The communication, the lineup's ready, the idea on how to play it. Fearoth dominating with an Odin, of course. You can see like the Sova on pistol round was at A. He's now moved back over towards B. So they're mixing up positions in here. Rhyme needs to be really careful. His position's not going to be checked. He's good for one. He's trying to hold it down. Yacine's fallen as well, but he's not going to check his corners. He's shot down by bonkar. But that's a 1v3 for him now. He's going to have to make a big push in here. He's got the Odin to deal with on the main site here of B. Problematic for sure. He's trying to check his corners. Too many corners to check. A few bullets tapped towards him. They're dancing. And Fearoth's even still going to get it with the Odin. All right. Easy now, Fearoth. Feeling comfortable with it.
Yep. And the good old Irishman dealing severe damage. I'm always going to pull it out, Banks. He's always going to be claimed by ERA. Actually, I was talking to some of the guys recently, though, that obviously played in a lot of the Irish lands, and it's really cool to see. They were all so happy to see Fearoth coming through and obviously delivering.
He's not Irish, god damn it.
Yeah, well, we all know him pretty well because he plays in the scene, so play that one land. But, no, like...
The Twitch chat, Ireland is so desperate for players that they are claiming a French man that once attended an Irish land is one of their own.
He played with Connor, he played with Laney over in Smoke Criminals. He's played with Irish people. He's played an Irish land with Irish people. What more? Really, he's Irish at this point, you know?
Okay, production, please make sure we get Fearoth onto the interview so I can ask him the magic question. Do you consider yourself a semi-Irish player because of that one land you attended? Mitch seems to claim all your fame. Yeah, you get on that, Mitch.
I'll give you $100 if you say yes. We have to do it for Ireland. But no, like everybody that used to play with him was all really happy to see him deliver this kind of performance on a top team because obviously in Counter-Strike he had a lot of promise. He's a really nice guy, but just didn't hit that success. Same as a lot of these guys. And yet Valorant, they've just come through and been able to deliver this insane level of play. I do wonder, you know, going to a new game if that makes a big difference. There's a small thing with pings actually. They ping the doorway just so Yacine knows exactly where to put that drone. No RNG, you know, maybe he misses the angle or misinterprets where he is. That's a really small thing, but it's really important as well.
Oh, seems to escape through. luckeRRR missing a key shot, puts the smoke down. He's going to get pushed. He still lands the headshot. But it's not going to be enough to take Yacine down. He couldn't quite reach that operator. They're putting the pressure on Hip as well. He's standing strong for now. He needs some backup from his teammates, but the pistols, they're proving far too strong for him. They need to turn this around, and Rhyme's the one to do it. The lockdown starts to come in. The site is certainly secured. But, oh, the revive comes in, and you'd see, that's how scared NiP were. They wanted to commit to that. They may be 4-1 up, but that was looking hella scary going up against pistols.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time you're going to just go in for those res as well whenever you've got a Sage that's popping up so heavily, like 8 kills for Rhyme already. Reality is, you know, in 2 or 3 rounds, they'll probably have it back online again. So why not, you know, give yourself that extra chance to win out the round, just in case things do go south. Now, when you look at the buy for bonk, they're back up here with an operator. They've got the rifles in play. Now, for a 4-1 scoreline, having won the pistol, they're going to be pretty devastated with where they are. Like, that second round should have been so easy for them. And those small decisions that didn't quite work out for them. This is dangerous. The TP couldn't come through. CREA got caught on a very aggressive angle. But luckily, there's still the Killjoy there, so she can delay quite a while. Thing is, if you look at where her abilities are, she hasn't got any position for long.
No.
Rhyme's already been taken down, and now this has turned into a bit of a disaster, honestly. A 5 versus 3. Obviously, no res, even if they did have a Sage back online, and they fully rotated to A. At this point, they're realizing, well, they have no control over the B site. And I find these moments to be the hardest to make any sort of a decision. What do you do? Do you commit towards, like, splitting up and having a 1vx on the B side or a 2vx on A? Do you just group up and play the gamble, maybe save your weapons if things don't go right, even with the money they've got? There's so many things, and I don't think there's any right decision, really. They just have to hope that whenever bonk do push, they'll be able to find a couple of kills and make the right gamble.
Now you got to remember here for bonk, 5v3, but you can't risk losing a round like this when you're so in charge. You have everything under your control. They're waiting now outside of B, which has actually been gamble stacked away from. So NiP are focusing in on A. They believe that's where it was going to be hit, but they don't have so much information, right? No one's spotting mid. No one's looking out for it. A lot's going to be committed from bonk as they try to push in. Ziz even commits the Omen ult. Teleports all the way to the back lines. No one's there. He's in a really good position either way. And if you're NiP, you probably just save your weapons, right? Why would you even go for this? Like, maybe 3v5. Maybe if they start to push you, there's potential for it. But ultimately, this should not be a round that NiP can even have a chance in.
No. No, it really shouldn't. Considering the fact that they're 4-1 up and now obviously conceding this one 4-2, it's definitely worthwhile just saving over. They have no economic concerns because of the fact that even the round they won was an eco, so all the weapons they retrieved were bonuses, they were free pickups. If you're NiP right now, you're just happy to be in this position considering the fact that they lost the pistol. Now,
unlucky.
I do love the attempt, though. If you throw through that nano swarm and you manage to keep them trapped in, that's guaranteed kills. They either die on the way out, or you manage to... Sorry, they die from your nano swarm on the way out, or you delay them enough that they get killed by the spike. So that could have been huge. I appreciate the attempt by Hip, and they had the money to do it anyways, so... YOLO. That was his approach.
Now for me, right, that push there, maybe not too much of an overextension from Hip, the fact that he might just want to hold an angle, but I just don't think he expected players to be that closely pushed up on him. Puts himself in a tough spot, at least for the round. At least money's not awful for them. They've managed to get a good string of rounds together. The fact that they were even able to win that second round off the back of the pistol win for bonk has been impressive. Now bonk are fighting from behind where they should have already been at a 2-0, potentially more had they had the momentum from it.
You also got to take a look at Ascent. Ascent in general plays out as a, in this tournament so far, 55% defensive side. I think it's roughly that when it comes to EU comp in general. And with the double openings, what's happening over here? Just shutting down the A site one after another. Goes through with the nano swarm as well, keeping them back, even dealing damage to Sayf. The smoke stopped him from seeing it coming, but it was only a little bit of a tickle.
That's going to force out the res onto Yacine. Puts it back into the 4v4. Yeah, the wall going down. Now, the real interesting part here, Mitch, is that you spoke about Killjoy being used over here. We spoke about him needing to find his comfort agent. Well, already he's showing us why. He's like single-handedly locking down the A site better than what we've seen from Cyphers.
Yeah, so the thing about allowing Hip to play the solo side is that he's so solid individually, but then he has the abilities that can completely shut this down as well whenever his enemies do start to push on up. That was a really good power. Oh, Nip
right on the edge. He wanted to put a turret down. He wanted some extra information, but bonk were already up close and personal. CREA's got to be oh so careful. He's playing off the side. He's starting to spam through, but plenty more shots coming out towards him. He takes a bit more damage. The spike will go down. It's not going to be a problem here for the side of bonk. 4v3, and NiP do have a chance of it. Fearoth trying to get himself some extra information, but using that Odin in a position like this, maybe he can get some spam through. Maybe he can try and make that work. But instead, some bullets just come flying back towards him. They do have the Jett ult, but maybe not worth popping considering the time that's already been taken here. NiP would need to get one kill right now.
Still going for it. They're rushing in, looking for the kill. This is starting to work out. The classic fight up close. Not quite working out in their favor, though. NiP should be down and out of this one. Fearoth in the spray, but he had no way to get out in time.
Sayf. He continues to impress me over and over again. This man, he delivered yesterday, and he's picking up kills like that. Now he's up on the Sage for this, right? We saw him on the Jett yesterday. It was on Haven we saw him on the Jett, right? That was where he played really well.
Yeah, I think so.
Just individually, like everyone was hyped up about Yacine and Ziz, but Sayf for me is really starting to just come into his own within this team.
Yeah, Sayf has just been so solid for bonk. He's a player that's stepped up throughout this tournament, throughout the past couple of weeks of bonk play. I think towards the start, I wasn't really looking at him as the one that I expected to do a lot. Although that said, I haven't gotten to cast a lot of bonk's games. Typically, they obviously have been failing to get into the tournaments themselves, making it through open qualifiers to either the finals or semifinals respectively, and then falling. And so it's great to see them actually in a tournament and what they can do when they get to this stage. They've already overthrown a couple of good teams, made it further than Liquid, which is huge. And now in a spot where, you know, NiP, it's a big head to claim considering the form that they're on. 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't say the same thing, but they've definitely woken up into their playstyle since Killjoy's come through. Look at the ults they've got for the retake on this. So obviously NiP cannot contest the A site. This is going to go to bonk. But I'm interested to see, I feel like this is where Hip deploys his lockdown. I'm probably in towards Garden. If you can get into the corner there with some backup, you can clear out that whole site.
If Yacine is able to hold on to this, though, and push from rafters, it's going to be a huge problem for him. Instantly, the ult's going to be used. The ult's going out as well from Yacine. He lands himself the first one. He may be low on health, but he can back away here. Oh, luckeRRR missing the knives again. He's one of the most unluckiest players when it comes to dropping his ult. Oh no, he's detained. Bonkar's just trying to hide away. Nipper on the hunt for him. It's an easy kill for them to find. But the spike is already ticking a fair bit here. Yacine tries to line them up, but he actually forced one player straight off it. CREA looking to control, but it's not going to work out. They have to run away. Lots of players dying. Only Yacine. Oh, he even goes down as well. It catches him at the very end. He thought he got away, but then it just kept on chasing. But what a round. So much was committed. The Jett ult and the Killjoy ult from NiP, and it still wasn't enough for them to push into it. Yacine, he went up high on the rafters, wanting to push forward, and he got so much with that.
Yeah. Oh, he did. The fact that he was able to find that kill really just thinned out the numbers of NiP on the retake. You saw Hip's lockdown usage, and you saw everybody being pushed off the site, but they make that rotate around, holding the short position on mid, and two players outside of long, obviously just basically sacrificing bonkar because he was just in a terrible spot. But he still managed to find a kill, get down below, delay them a little bit longer. And obviously, when it comes down to Killjoy's ultimate, it might seem super overpowered, but really, the reason it is, when it comes down to matchmaking and some lower level teams, is because it makes you change your playstyle immediately. The game plan has to adapt to it straight away. If you leave it unchecked, if you don't push and destroy it or fall back and get some good setups outside of that range, you're going to lose the round. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle versus it, especially in the likes of matchmaking, because decision making isn't exactly, you know, the #1 priority there.
Now, one thing that's been interesting when it comes to Ascent, at the beginning it was very attack focused, but we've been seeing in pro games more and more defense side. So for here, for me and with NiP, they need to start picking up a few more rounds here. They need to start battling back. Fearoth's trying to get the extra information. He knows at least one player's in the site. Oh, he's going to try and get it spammed up, but Sayf is ready and waiting. Bonk just stroll on into the B site. They make it look so easy. luckeRRR's hoping to find an opening pick of some sort, but with that Cypher ult going down, all their positions are known. Sayf's just landed the shots consistently here. Doesn't matter if he's the Sage or the Jett, and he's just going on the hunt now. The confidence, he just needs one more kill to get his ult into play. Woohoo, that was close onto CREA as well. Smoke or no smoke, he sees through it. Hip though, that's an easy one to find. He'll just chill, wait it out. But now they've got to try and hide and save onto these weapons. I kind of like how the fact that Hip can just play off this, and if they do want to try and push him, he can be ready for it. Because they can just wait and try and hold him in position. This is what they want to do, and while it spike blows up, they might die to it.
And just make it as costly as possible. But I agree with you, definitely. NiP need to get back up on the board. You're talking 5-4. It's obviously a very tight game, but they want to be walking out with a 7-5 lead, at least tying up on that 6-6. And so it's time to really start stepping it up. There's the... Yacine, actually, I want to mention over towards the B side, he had really good decision-making. When he got hit by the recon, he just hid behind the site.
Yeah.
So there was a wall and the boxes between him. Because obviously you realize, okay, recon's just spotted me. That's Fearoth. That's an Omen. I can't exactly push him because he's going to spray me through the wall. So he just takes cover behind as many walls as possible and lets his teammate hold it with an operator. Really good decision-making.
Yeah, how many times do we see a player gets a little bit over-aggressive when you're going up against Omen like that? You can just sit there and chime away. NiP going for this early mid-aggression, but for now, bonk. They're not even close to it, not even focused near it.
Look at the rotate. Fully rotated towards the A site.
Yeah.
This is a very big gamble, a very big play.
And bonk don't need to commit with this amount of time left either.
Nope. That's why it's very problematic for them. Like, the fact that they've got middle control is fantastic. But at this stage, those players could have rotated through spawn and be pushing in through B main.
Yeah, CREA's not in an angle where he can see it. Maybe if he can do some damage here. All the time, it's not going to work out for him. He tries to tap away. He's quickly teleporting out as well. He did dink Yacine down to 18 health, but he won't walk away with the kill. luckeRRR's there to try and back him up. There's going to have to be some crisp shots landed.
And look, he's being held, though. CREA's going to walk on through that smoke and be in trouble, but he wins the fight versus this. Really solid control for them. But on the back of that, they should be able to rotate to A. They should be able to stack it up. They've spotted nobody else outside of the B site. And so bonk need to move. At this point, low time, they've got to commit to it, and they're taking their time still.
It's going to come down to these jewels. It's going to come down to this push in. luckeRRR looking on the edge of it. He's landing the first rhymes there as well. A nice lockdown from NiP, and that is absolutely destroying bonk as they try to push in. They were caught in the choke point. The smokes were down as well. They couldn't see anything. They couldn't get anything done. There was no opportunity for them to find a pick to even try and push on.
So the big problem with bonk's attack when it comes to playing up against the smokes that are still in play for NiP, obviously luckeRRR is holding them very late into the round. You've got a Sage and a Killjoy to delay that clock massively. When it comes down to crunch time with the 25 seconds left, and smokes come in, you've got to push through them. And they don't have a Phoenix, they don't have a Breach, they don't have Reyna. They have nobody that can flash through unless the paranoia is online. And that's generally going to be used by that point to already claim a little bit of map control. And even still, doesn't quite work as efficiently as maybe a Breach flash to pull people off from holding that smoke. So not having the likes of the Phoenix and Breach is really, really hurting them when it comes to those kind of push scenarios. You need to see them dealing with the smokes very early on and baiting them out, and at least having more map control than simply pushing through a single choke point with 4 players, because that just isn't going to work out with their composition.
Now luckeRRR's position here, him and Sayf technically matching off, but not quite knowing about it just yet. Sayf definitely wants to avoid that Odin spam coming through. Already the door's being closed very early on here as well. I'm definitely not against it, but luckeRRR, easy shot for him to hit. No chance for a refrag. He's quickly out of there. And I love that. Get the one-man advantage. Fearoth's there spamming away. No problem at all for them to even be concerned. Always these spams now. It's nearly on point.
It's always so scary, Banks, playing up against that Odin, isn't it? You got that player.
I just run. I'm not staying there, Mitch. I'm not staying there, mate. When that happens in my games, I'm like, yeah, bye, we'll go A. Bye.
I've seen so many people try to spam back through, and it doesn't work out.
Even if you do have a Vandal or a Phantom, yeah, unless you're just headshotting him, it's not working for you. And it's not working for bonk at all right now. luckeRRR's found Yacine. They're trying to push into B. They've got to look at the time, but it doesn't matter. There's so many NiP players here, but Sayf, Aron, they believe they can make something work here. Spike's going to be planted just in the nick of time. Good camera position from Aron, trying to give him some extra information here. And bonk, they've somehow made this viable. If that heal can pop up anytime soon. And bonkar, oh, this is nice. He's got his ult going. Can't quite make it connect, though. Maybe he got some information off of it at least, but I don't know.
Ryan just danced around that. It was like the scene in Ocean's 12 or 13, where he's going around the laser.
Ooh.
This is dangerous. Bonk! They know where he is. He's able to swing, though. Gets so much space over towards this player. Oh, so good! You can't deal with him. He just found a 3K. Has he got time? Yeah.
Yeah, way loads of time.
That's ridiculous.
The problem I have there for bonkar, he went in for the fight, he spammed a lot of the wall, lost more bullets, and then the huge problem is that after that, he didn't go hide. Like, once your teammate died, at that point, you play for time. He could have jumped up and run away. I know it's a very minor detail, but, like, Hip was low on health. Hip was the one under pressure, and you just allowed him to take it one-on-one, basically straight go in. There should never be a situation in a 2v1. Oh, but ultimately, NiP should have had that round from the get-go. They look like they were really well set up for it, considering how many players were towards B.
I like how Hip's changing up positions as well. He was playing A, obviously, a lot of these rounds. Now they're going for a two-man stack early A. You know, the smoke going down. No paranoia just yet. So I presume they're not going to be pushing up on the back of that.
Oh, that's nice for Yacine, though.
That's a gorgeous one-way smoke. There's no way they push up on that now.
Nah. Not worth the risk.
I wonder... Fearoth. Oh, no!
So close, yet so far. He tried to make it work, but Fearoth still goes down at the hands of the grenades. They want to push on this, even with a Spectre in play. Rhyme, though, he's delivering those headshots. He's locking it down. He's got the backup of luckeRRR. It's non-stop action from NiP from start to finish, and they are wrecking bonk once again. This A site is in incredible shape when it comes to what NiP deliver here. They're ready and waiting for any time bonk wants to push in. They've had a lot more success going through mid or going towards B. Every time they hit A, I think they've had one successful or two successful pushes into A with spike plants. luckeRRR's even popped the ult. He's just styling on it for the last round. Like, come on, let's go for it. Challenge me. I dare you.
You don't see that boost all too often either from a Jett. It's there from luckeRRR. Going up on the double up draft. You can see right outside of the A site.
They got the 7-5 that you wanted as well, Mitch.
Yeah, they've managed it. I think now they can be pretty comfortable with the half they've had. Considering the fact that obviously they managed to win that eco round, you probably would have wanted to see 8 up on the board. But contextually, I think 8 would have been better. Well, that's a pretty easy statement to make. 8 would be better than 7 banks. But just contextually, I would have felt more comfortable having the 8 on the board just because of the fact that they got into the half so early on. But even still, like 7 is perfectly fine. The fact that they recovered it towards the end. For bonk, I love that push they had in towards the A site. You notice, obviously, the one-way smoke is there. They just jump across it, fire in the showstopper to back left, nade to the right side. At that point, those players have to push out. They caught, I think it was CREA, who was coming out initially. Didn't manage to do that much damage to him, but then obviously Fearoth was just stuck, completely wrecked by the nade.
Back and forth, but no real casualties in that. Only a slight bit of damage done over to NiP Sage. This is the ultimate round, though, because it's a pistol round that bonk desperately need to get. They can't allow this to slip too far away. Remember, this is bonk's map pick. This is what they wanted to start on here. But this is a better looking NiP than we've seen in recent times.
And obviously we mentioned the fact that typically Ascent between these two teams would be considered more of a middle ground. If anything, I would probably favor NiP based on the performances they've had. But, as you said, Banks, the fact that bonk picked it, obviously you would presume that they spotted something from NiP that they like, that they want to destroy. Now, was that the old NiP, or is that NiP in this tournament playing in with the Killjoy? That's the question that remains to be answered.
And the push coming in, they're going to try and hit A. Sayf's going to be smoked out of position. Can't stand strong for too long on this one. And this is going to be a 5-man retake once again. Oh, luckeRRR. Very sneaky, out in mid, taking some control, and he's going to just push on forward around it. If he can flank him, that's going to be huge. Yacine, though, going to chime in with one of his own. They're going to try and push onto the site, but as the smoke goes down, it's the risk on trying to push it. Ziz has got to find some success here. Rhyme may have just spotted him out. Here's the shots for sure now, trying to get the jumping shots going as well. You still need to be careful. He's tapping up towards it. Those nades are going out. It's doing a lot of damage. Hit falls and Yacine. He's unstoppable right now. 3 kills straight into it. He's pushed right in. Sayf's just going to play off the edge. Both players are locked out. And Yacine, he finally goes down after getting 4. Fearoth's on 6 health. He's all alone. It's not going to work out. Oh, he's on the edge of it. Oh, that's huge. It just about works. Ziz tried to sit on top of it, but the spike will blow, and the pistol round is secured by NiP. My, oh my, Mitch. Seconds. Just seconds in it.
I felt like Ziz should have been sticking that a little bit earlier, actually, because they pushed through, right? They had control in the wall. I don't see how they wouldn't have had time for it. I thought the only way that NiP won that was with Fearoth connecting those shots, but apparently not. Either way, it was very close to him landing them. But for that pistol round to go to NiP, that's devastating for bonk. Yeah, the likelihood of them getting the same kind of look that NiP did is unbelievably low. Yeah, bonk made some really weird decisions on their attacking side anti-eco. And NiP, as you can see, they're grouped up. They're pushing through to the B side, albeit, you know, a bit of a scary prospect sometimes when you push into those pistols. And coming up behind, this is able to catch the guard, but you're not going to get any more done. Look, there's the dash.
Uh-oh. CREA saving him. Oh, that got a little bit too close for comfort, Mitch.
Yeah, I didn't see that push coming out, and Looker definitely did not. Got a little bit scared of that one.
All right, now bonkar wants to find some success in here. Wants to see what he can reveal, but if it'll just get destroyed straight away, that'll be the problem for him. NiP have the backline defense in their hands. Already it's ticking down too far. If you can just make them lose all their weapons, I guess that's a positive.
That's what they're doing. They're going to just let time be their biggest ally in this one. Their flank clicks through the smoke. Works like a shotgun, but no kills for them. And this should be easily cleaned up.
Oh, wow.
Spike's going to explode. It's not going to kill him.
Nah, that'd be fine.
9 connected, clean, only one player lost. They can play this as a bonus then. They don't even need to invest up on the final player. Honestly, I think it's probably a ghost to be bought up by Rhyme a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Especially considering the lead.
9-5 now, Mitch. Mitch, you know what I did today as well? I went and bought the skins, man. I got myself the Nebula in there. It's not going to distract me. I finally went and did it.
Now, if I play the same side as you, I'm just going to be staring at your gun.
Staring at me, yeah. Wow. It's so pretty. It's like that that thing from Toy Story, you know, they're like, the claw.
Yeah.
Ooh, Rhyme! You just did him dirty like that. What a shot with the Sheriff.
Great trade afterwards as well by CREA. Yeah. We said he'd go for the ghost. He went for the Sheriff instead, and a quick headshot later. They're up on a man advantage. NiP. They're playing this as a bonus round, but it doesn't look like it considering that start. Now, they don't need to play very pointed and very fast, but it looks like they're definitely still looking to the A side. There's 2 players here, one towards the short side, with the ability to get out there fast and get the door closed. Now, I don't know if bonkar can even afford to swing wide.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait, that was an operator? They didn't buy an operator, right? We'll have to take a look at the money afterwards, because down the bottom right isn't accurate. It stays the same for every player, but I thought they were playing it with the Marshal. So did they kill an operator there? Did I miss that? What's going on? Oh, no, they didn't buy an operator. Wow, so the player that peaked up second had it. That's heartbreaking. They've lost such a valuable weapon. Look at
Ziz
going in.
Ziz is locking it down, though. This is huge. This is brilliant work. luckeRRR finally falls. Oh, no, it's Fearoth that went down, but bonkar's there to clutch it out. Right on the edge of it. Oh. That looked like that was NiP's round from start to finish. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I'm lost.
I cannot agree with that push by luckeRRR. You have the operator in hand. So normally
I thought he was in Fearoth's position. That's what I thought. That would have made more sense.
Exactly. We saw him dash in though. I was scratching my head. I'm wondering what he's doing, because when you go in for that aggressive spot with the operator, your teammates have to take the range duel while you're trying to find that trade frag up close. Now, your teammates have got Spectres, Bulldogs. It's not the ideal kind of thing to take a fight versus the likes of a Phantom on range with. Really, you want to have that operator posted back looking for the fights. Now, obviously, with the Jett, that's the player that can push in. In that case, I'd rather luckeRRR just gives that operator to one of his teammates and picks up the Spectre, still goes in for that blitzy fast play that Jett's supposed to. But on a round like that, if that's your strategy, sending your most valuable ranged weapon for the close range fight, it just doesn't weigh up.
You just saw that position Sayf was taking with the operator. I'm not against it, but that's why I'm against it. Because if he took the shot, right, he's not the Jett anymore. He can't just back away and dash out of there. He's stuck, and you've lost your Sage straight into this. You can't go down a man early at this point, right? Especially losing your operator player. Yacine's going to have to put in some work if they do want to try and push on to A. If he gets left unchecked, or Ziz trying to play carefully off the side of it. Doesn't want to tap through just yet. It's all about when that smoke fades. It's gone down now. He starts off with the first. Wants to teleport out of there, and he gets away with it. The smoke coming out. He's trying to play in. Oh, he's got to be careful. He does still manage to get it onto Fearoth. That spam was coming through. But luckeRRR's there, and NiP are pushing on in. Yacine looking to get the rotation on go. luckeRRR out with the knives, but is it going to be enough this time around? He struggled with those knives oh so many times. 2 versus 2. Plant is down. Rhyme's in a really good spot here, especially considering where they're going to attack from.
There's the operator. Rhyme's good for the trade. This should be an easy peasy. Look at bonker's HP. He's got 27 health remaining. Had to be even careful of the blast. Oh, don't right click this, luckeRRR. We know what you're like with the right clicks. He's coming up close. Somehow his accuracy goes to 0. Like, I think luckeRRR genuinely has the worst RNG in this game when it comes to right-clicking knives. Even with 27 HP on bonker, I don't think he'd get that kill. But luckily, Rhyme is there to help out. That's why we always see him go close and we're like, just left-click, you always hit the headshot. Right-click, you hit the ankle.
That's why it's so funny. Like, right-click is okay at a certain distance, but left-click is just so much better when you're rocking the Jett like that.
Feels beautiful, it really does. Especially the in-air accuracy. I was talking to some people recently. So I was filming a show out in Ireland here, and these guys have played a decent amount. They're League of Legends players, mostly the production guys, and we were just talking about Jett. They didn't realize it was 100% accurate in the air, so they'd been like waiting till they're standing still with the knives out. It's like, no, that's the whole benefit is that you fly up and go, quick headshot. Gorgeous play. I also noticed Fearoth is playing with the Omen a lot on the attacking side, which is like, I know I said before, like I was joking around going like, oh, it's a troll weapon, because obviously in Counter-Strike, if you buy a Negev, you're just being mean. But Omen is very viable in this game. Yeah. Defensive side, spamming, it's unreal. Now, on the attacking side, I don't know. Not so much. Like, there are uses for it. If you know an enemy is behind cover, spray it away. Yeah, you're going to wreck them. But you can't really be the first player in. That's for sure. You swinging with an Omen just doesn't work out.
Yeah, very situational. A lot like what we're seeing from Killjoy, though. But like we said, with a player like Hip, just the individual skills, maybe he can make it viable. CREA just easily deals with Sayf, despite the little sneak attack coming in. And for bonk, this is just, it's starting to look unwinnable in every scenario. Maybe the NiP they prepared for on Ascent is no longer that NiP that's showing face. We've seen the improvements, and that's just naughty. Fearoth jumping headshot onto Ziz. A-site completely in their control. luckeRRR's not missing shots like that. Only one more left to find. bonkar all alone, and maybe at best he can try and grab himself a weapon. He'll have his ult up still, though, which will come into play maybe for the next round. Not so useful here and now. Can hear the footsteps. Oh, that's just unlucky.
We talk about the exits a lot as well, right? So when you've got a classic and it's a 1v5, likelihood of you finding a duel very, very low. Obviously, he was just trying to tuck away and see if he could save it through. But when you have your ultimate up as well, it's a small thing, but it's something that coming from the other FPS titles maybe you wouldn't be so familiar with. In like, you're going, oh, well, he has a pistol and he gets to save it till the next round. He'll have the same pistol next round, so why not just go for the exits, right? And it's like, yeah, well, in a way, but also you're giving your enemies an ult point. And if your ultimate's already online, you don't get any benefit from it. So it can be a little bit dangerous to play those. Now, considering the amount that were already online for NiP, it wasn't the biggest of deals, but in some scenarios it can be pretty big. Look at the shock dart. That's big damage done. Two players almost dead from it.
All he needs there now is Yacine to come on over and drop an nade in. Sadly, that's not going to be the case. Yacine is starting to rotate in, but it already looks like we're going to see them coming in. It's not working out. Rhyme's up high. bonkar's ult absolutely useless in that. Yacine does drop the blast back out. That's going to at least net him one kill. For now, Yacine, they're lining up for him. Nade's going up high. Is it going to be enough here? Hip ducks away. Doesn't want to stay and fight into this. Still now we'll go back and get the spike down, but this will allow bonk a bit of time to reposition. CREA, he's going to be the point man though. Look at the positioning. Being very cautious of a flank coming in. Fearoth goes down, but it's a 1-for-1 trade out. Still though, it's in favor for the bonk boys, as Ziz wants to cause a bit of a problem here. CREA goes down. This is their time to strike. It's all on hip to try and clutch this out. He popped his ult already in this round, but it's not going to work out for him. It may come down to the 1v1 in the end, but Ziz will take it. A 7th round on the board, but still such a long way to go here for bonk.
A lot about that round interested me. Hip's positioning of the lockdown was in a spot where I'm pretty sure they could wallbang it. They would have had to be out in the open still in the alleyway. And I think he was willing to make that sacrifice that, okay, you can destroy that. But as you do, as you stand in the position to destroy it and get that lineup, my teammates are going to swing and they're going to kill you. So they had a choice to either commit to it or fall back on site and still look to just hold them off with the aim duels before lockdown came into play. Obviously, losing the fights before it ever came through, no one was detained, they were all outside of the site, and the retake still managing to work out for them. But it was an interesting small detail, because normally you will see a much more passive player, I think instinctively, whenever you put that lockdown in play. But I feel almost like they were trying to bait it out. Seems like someone's disconnected over on the NiP side. Is there, they've called a pause, or maybe it's just a tactical pause as well, though.
Yeah, that's one thing we've touched on this before, but you don't see that many tactical pauses in Valorant. And generally we go through the tech pauses. Yeah, that's normal stuff that can happen, but tactical side of things we don't see all that often. And for me, sometimes you need it even just to like I see the smart one when you're really far ahead and they start to win some rounds together. Just call a timeout, calm it all down, take control of comms, and then just move on forward like you were.
I think especially in Valorant, it's important to have those tactical timeouts because there's so many moving parts. And if you think about any other game where the utility is like a shared pool that anybody can have versus in Valorant, it's very predictable what, like if you know, for example, that there's a Sova and an Omen playing the B site, well, you know what they can do, right? It's not like they all have one piece of each utility. They can slow you down in the same way multiple times. They can only do certain things, whatever their agents allow. So if you figure out where those players are playing, you can start to get a read on how to bait that specific utility out early round. And I think that's something that a lot of teams are doing. But yeah, in terms of tactical timeouts, we're not seeing nearly as many as you would expect. I expect that to change as time goes on as well, and teams start to I suppose become more predictable in that like a more concrete meta develops, then it will become easier to realize when someone's straying from that and get those tac timeouts in. Also, the walls are still up, just for anyone wondering, because this happened to us before. Remember when you call a tac pause during this phase, only on spectator the walls disappear. And I remember we were like, wait, can they just push up? What's happening?
yeah, run on forward. Well, what we should remind everyone while we're here and waiting for the game to kick on is that if you guys at home might want to win 10,500 Valorant points and grab some 6 skins in-game for yourself, type ! giveaway, just type it once, follow the link through, and enter away. Good luck, have fun, and all that good stuff. As we'll wait for everyone to be in a good position and want to get themselves back into this game starting off. And that's exactly what's going to happen right now. Yacine throws out the bomb, but it won't go boom this time.
So you're seeing there the Fearoth's play with the Odin. Early on, he's just spamming through, trying to deny bonkar the ability to make the same play he was having a couple of times. Really, that's... Fearoth is the one player that... I'm trying to just scan over you. I'm pretty sure more than anybody else plays with the Odin. Certainly on Ascent. Obviously, it's very map dependent. You're not going to see it nearly as much on the likes of Split as you are on Ascent, because there's just so many walls to wallbang on this map, especially towards the B site.
Oh, Yacine. Can he get anything done from this position? He's not going to be forced out just yet. Smoke right down in front of him. It's going to come down to the timing. No matter where NiP go, there's something being placed in front of him. Having to slow it down quite massively here. Sayf has to hit the shot, and he does as the paranoia goes out. He's tagged up quite heavily. Should be able to heal himself up though either way. Ziz looking to control it, but he's only good for one. Yacine is there, and even with the Spectre, he's able to find the kills. Pushing on forward. He's hungry for it, but Rhyme, razor sharp aim. He followed him perfectly through that. But Aron said, "Oh, thanks for the wall. I'll just catch you with your pants down."
Yeah, luckily he didn't go to commit for the res. That was obviously the intention, but had he have done that, you realize immediately, like I see him up on top of that wall and I'm like, oh, you're just dead. He's going to jump up on it and spray you on 20 HP. No way you get out. I think especially with the health that he had left, rezzing up when you've got 20 health is never really a good idea, because a single piece of utility coming through to kill you, and that player is just exposed then getting rezzed the whole time, so it's not really going to work out a lot of the time. Interesting conversation I was having actually, Banks, with some of the people that are running these stats websites is like, in terms of, you know, in Counter-Strike we have a 1vx statistic, so you win a clutch. If a Sage is in a 1 versus 2 and then rezzes a teammate and they win the round, is that a 1vx? It's a very, very deep philosophical question. Here's the pistols up close, though, and there's no question about that. The opening duel goes to NiP. They're looking to trade it out. Aron, oh, he could be catching them over towards the house, waiting to try and catch them as they come on out. They haven't dealt with them just yet, but now they've spotted them. Pistols should overwhelm, and through the smoke they do.
Pistol power coming out from NiP. They're getting away with murder here. Something they really shouldn't have been able to have success with. The ult is deployed by Yacine, but it doesn't work out. CREA's trying to sneak in. Now it's the 1v1. Luckily, he's got the revive in play, but so much is being spent here from bonk in a round where it was just pistols. NiP, how are they getting these rounds? Oh, Fearoth. Oh, no. Right on the edge of it. Yacine expects it. It will be the round for bonk, but honestly, I'm just impressed that NiP even managed to get that far.
Yeah, they did a lot of damage, right? Just having the pistols in play. Fair play. Now, with so much left to play with, they've got a lockdown and a res at the moment. I think that's about it. It's very faded for me up the top, but yeah, there you go. I like that so much more. Like, shout out to Riot for that update, because when it was just the, like, I don't know, the X with the circle, and so I suppose like a tilted crosshair on them, it was so hard to see. When it was like a 4 versus 3 or something, you're like, it's a 4, is it 4v3? But yeah, it's much easier now to tell. By the way, yeah, so that's a pretty interesting question, though, isn't it, about the 1vx situation, when you're trying to figure out, like, and what if they die and the other player then 1v2 wins it? Is that then 2 1vx's or 1 1v? There's so much to think about in that that aspect of it. Not all as straightforward as what we're used to. Oh, at the moment we're looking in towards a push on the B side. It's gone very successfully on the back of the lockdown in play. You can see that NiP have got all the control in there. That's the benefit of lockdown, but you still have to hold down on the post plants, and there's so much utility left for bonk to play with. As they push on out, you're seeing no kills immediately, but Zis able to pick up 1. And they're grouped up. They've cleared out all the immediate control, so it's only the site they've got to worry about now.
I know exactly where you are.
Oh. NiP coming back with the guns. It's still close. Still possible here for bonkar. Spots out the first player, but Fearoth challenging long range with it as well. Fearoth is a monster with this Odin in hand, man. 12th round secured. It's map point. And this could be NiP taking bonk's pick. After this, Mitch will be moving on to bind, which was picked by NiP. NiP looking for a quick 2-0. Want to have their time for, like, just chilling, right? And going, cool,
Yeah.
we'll watch the next match go down. We'll wait for the grand finals to come in. So and this is a bounce back, especially what we spoke about from the last Ignition Series events, where NiP were not looking so hot.
And bind is a pretty terrible map for bonk. Like, we saw them play NiP on it, and it was a 13-4 loss, 13-5 loss.
Oh, look
as well. This is a little bit dangerous, but luckeRRR, he gets away. He's able to get healed up as well, tuck in the corner. And obviously, when you've got those knives in play, that can bridge the gap in a lot of fights. But honestly, I would feel very scared if I was bonk moving on over to the next map. This is where, obviously, that 13-0 came through for NiP up against Big. And they've been looking good this tournament.
Now, there's one thing I want to point out, Mitch, is we were talking about tactical. At least within this tournament, there is no tactical pauses allowed, only technical. So that makes sense, at least within this tournament. But we've been a part of some tournaments that have allowed tactical, and they've still not been used. So I guess a lot of teams just run and gun, and they deal with it in the start time before the round. Sayf. Easy lineup for him to get the first one. Puts the slowdown straight away, forces out the revive from NiP, which means they want to close this game out right here and now. Already only 40 seconds to go, so them backing away from B, unless they go through mid, and they're just generally going to have to hit A because of the timing.
Caught one.
Well, this should be an easy A push. The full rotates come through, but look at that big flank coming in. Yacine should be able to catch a free kill towards top mid. Bottom mid, excuse me. Always going to make that mistake. But Ryan does fall. NiP overrun the site, but that's a trade that I suppose they're happy to make. Looker trying to get a little bit further on the board, jumping up, but he runs out of knives now. Yacine still going, my God!
Just wrecking them. They're running up into him, and they can't do anything about it. Sayf delivering onto luckeRRR and bonk. They're not going down without a fight. They keep 5 alive. They get the retake in a perfect fashion. A lot of that being done by Yacine on the flank. 12-10 and bonk. They're looking to force NiP out into overtime if it's possible. Taking a look at the money is going to be quite interesting as well. So, yeah, still pretty damn good for NiP. It's a bit up and down on different players, but we can get some drops over either way, especially with Fearoth just constantly going in for the Odin, right? It's not exactly the most expensive way for it to go down.
That still costs a pretty buck, right? It's a big old weapon. Takes a lot out of your economy, but the fact that he's getting a lot done with it when it comes down to spamming and pulling these players off the angles, that's really what... Whoa, look at Hip. Oh, no, Aron. He's missed it. It's a very hard cage to hit. Oh, hello, Hip, and goodbye, Hip. Well, he came into this round with a stinger, and that one definitely stung. But look at the TP up behind. CREA's not able to find a damn thing because bonkar comes through, and he's saying, hey, Fearoth, I like your weapon. I'm going to use it a little bit. Spraying on through the boxes, taking a kill, and putting NiP behind by 2.
Bonk trying to make it work, but Fearoth, he wants to fight up into this one. Gets away with at least 1 kill with it. Sayf going down is quite a big scalp to take. Bonk trying to play a bit of his own game here. Spam coming through. Does him and Fearoth just have a challenge? I'm down for it. Why not? Try spam each other back. Who's going to try win that one? The NiP still setting up and trying to hit onto B. Great nade coming out from Yacine. Look at the damage done. Fearoth just about escapes there. He'll be healed up, but you're taking out the abilities on a big way.
See, the Killjoy turret's still up. Watching their back is huge as well. Even though Hip is dead, they've just got that constant sentry, making sure that their back is locked down. That's why I love Killjoy so much, and I feel like on attack, sure, she might not bring the most value in some scenarios, but is definitely very useful there. Look at this sneaky play. The wall that was in, they're going to go through for the recon in the back of the site. Boathouse now going to be cleared out. They know they don't need to worry about it, and bonkar just swaps positions. He's going to play for the spams himself, and he drops the spike. 12 seconds left. Runs out of ammo, though. Can't keep up the spray. Now the plant coming through. This is dangerous. They're going to run out of time, but it has to be stuck on right now. It's a 2 versus 1. Oh, come off it.
What?
Why?
Oh, luckeRRR. Oh, luckeRRR. I guess he just thought they're going to push him straight away, but damn, that's so unlucky. He could have got the spike down. He had 1 second left within it. And now that's an 11th round secured for bonk. They're coming back on their defensive side.
That was ludicrous. That was absolutely ludicrous. I have no idea what that was, Banks. I guess, yeah, he thought they'd both push him from the same angle and he could just spray them down, but yeah, maybe not quite what they envisioned. 12-11. Another technical pause coming through. Oh man, look at the buy for NiP though. Those weapons are so tough.
This is troublesome for him.
Never mind the Odin, you can't afford a Vandal or a Phantom even at this stage. Like, going down to Stingers. Oh, there's that pistol round play from CREA. It was so
Sneaky
good.
CREA.
Sneaky beaky.
Imagine if he landed the headshot onto Sayf in that situation. You know, just one tapped him. Oh. The back and forth we had on these first couple of rounds, that's the difference maker of why NiP's still here.
I mean, the reality is NiP got insanely lucky with the punishment they were able to have up against bonk in the early first half.
Yeah.
At this stage, you can see that bonk very well could have been walking out of this with the win had they just not have completely whiffed the second round of the game. Now it's going to be that really, really tight comeback, 12-11. They need to win this round, but they're showing up, and you can really see their never give up attitude, right? The positivity that's definitely in play for them. Yacine was talking about how they always just sit there, happy and calm, keep the mood up. this was that play right there. So we talked about it a little bit, but bonkar kind of half committed to the fight, and that caused his teammate to swing. Then he was like left in the open. His teammate swung to try and take the 2v1 fight, but bonkar wasn't wide enough, hadn't fully committed. So it was a 1v1, and then bonkar had nowhere to go. It was really like, it's those small little things, round 2, that 2v1 as well, where you can see the communication isn't quite there. And they've had a long time together as a team, so I really want to see that improved on. But that is something that you can improve, right? Just watching back through the VODs, you'll get there.
Now, one thing, Mitch, going into this round, is despite the lack of weaponry here for NiP, we saw the success they've had when they've had lack of weaponry. When they had the pistols, they've managed to get in. And once again, they're going to be in the A site, so it's going to be down to the retake coming out here. Oh, Yacine with his ult down. He'll walk away with the kill onto Rhyme. Wants to put his boom bot down, but it's not going to go out just yet. He's going to hold on to it for now. He's delayed the spike plant going in, but Fearoth's health is incredibly low. They don't have a Sage to play with, and Yacine is not stopping. He's pushing on forward. He's looking to deliver more damage. He's picking up all the kills for now. 2 more players to find. Bonkar's there to seal the deal, and there's only Hip remaining. He's trying to flank, but how much can he get done? He's going to spray a couple of them. Going to try and play it smart with the abilities, but is it even going to be enough? They're ready and waiting for him, but Hip, how many challenges do they want to give him? It's not going to work out. We're going to overtime, and Hip's flank doesn't pay off. Bonk, they come back in an incredible style here.
That nano swarm could have been huge if it was a little bit deeper, maybe thrown over the wall. Obviously, that's not something you will mess around with lineups for all too often, but had he have had that have landed, the round could have been his because he had one more in the reserve. But unfortunately, it doesn't work out, and NiP have to feel gutted. You know, they got the advantages coming into this first half. It started to build up in their favor, and now things have kind of spiraled out of control. Tied up on overtime, especially when you're the team. This is a mental aspect of the game, Banks, I want to ask you about. Overtime obviously means you've both done equally as well, right? You're literally the halves have gone the same. But if you're at 12-8, 12-7, and you fail to close out the game, I feel like that always affects your mentality much more. And if you're the team that's managed to come back and hit the overtime, you're hyped up.
Rhyme's already gone down, though. Not the start the NiP would have wanted. You've been on the receiving end. Over and over again. luckeRRR needs to pull up something huge, but it's not going to work out. The shock dart on top of the grenades. Bonk, they've got huge momentum, and they are just running with it. Running straight over the hopes and dreams of NiP, who look like they had this map secured. Sayf still on the hunt, looking for more. NiP don't even know where they're going to commit to. There's still 1 minute left on the clock.
They've got lots of time on bonk, as you said, 1 minute. But they don't want to waste it. They're not going to let that clock run down. Moving quickly to B. There's 2 players here, though, ready to hold them off. This could be dangerous, Banks. But Hip, ooh, he wanted to go through it.
Oh, the spam coming out from Fearoth. Look at him trying to make it work. It's not working out for the rest of NiP, though. Hip's gone down. Fearoth in the back lines. He's doing his best. He's been a god with the Odin, but he's not the god this time around. It's all on CREA. It's 4v1. And he has to go for it, right? He has to try. There's no point of holding back, but the door's already put down. They don't know your position. He's going to take the long way around. Then the spike is already going to be ticking down further. The beep's going off. How many rounds is this from bonk in a row now? 5?
I think 5 or 6. Yeah, it's been a lot for sure. Look at the ult that's online already. Through it goes. You see him not landing it, but he's definitely seen CREA.
6 in a row.
6th. Wow.
Bonk. They said, this is our map. We're going to show you how it's done. They've just picked up the attacking gun round. Now they're going to the defensive side where they've had the most success.
And just for you guys at home, if you don't know how OT works, obviously it goes 1 round. It's like tennis, right? Whoever goes 2 in the lead first takes the win. If it ties up 13-13, it's first to 15 and so on. You swap over every round. It keeps on swapping back and forth and back and forth. You come in with 5k, so if you buy an operator, you're only going to get light armor and have 100 left to spend on an ability. And when it comes down to ultimates, you get basically 3 away. So if your ultimate is 7 charges, you get 4, and if it's 6, you get 3. So basically, you need those kind of 2 kills and an ult orb or 3k to get your ult online. So we don't tend to see too much ultimate gameplay when it comes down to overtime. It is mostly just about using your base abilities.
Watching here.
Now, I was just talking to Emil.
Watching here.
Doom Bros when it comes to actually looking at the tactical pauses, and they agreed with me. They said on some tournaments, even in the rules it says no, but then you're allowed to use it. So like right now we're in a bit of a limbo world of it. Having a nice discussion with these guys on Twitter. I'm guessing them as coaches as well, both of them. Emil for bonk, Doom Bros for FPX. They would 100% be wanting tactical pauses to be in there at some stages, especially when games get close like this. And right now, bonk have gone down 1 early on, but it's how they try and fight back on this. Aron's going to have a smoke down put in front of him, and he's going to play with inside it for now. Slow going out at the same time, but NiP aren't that far forward.
No, they haven't pushed up too much, but they have got bottom mid control. They're blocked out by a smoke for now, but once that fades, there's no one there to stop them. And so pushing forward, and here you go, smoke's faded. Now they go in, they're splitting into the B side, even with players outside of A. This is a very aggressive play. They need to be so careful as they push on through. Sayf is behind the smoke, looking for a victim, and there's only 10 seconds left. It's time to push. They haven't dealt with Boathouse. Sayf with one, Boathouse still up, Ziz is able for a kill, and they're shutting them down. No time for a spike plant, and that's going to be it. Bonk have done it.
Bonk managed to take their map pick based on the timing that was left. NiP far too slow.